All right, welcome back, everyone. This is Ebony, a.k.a. Fit Mom Diva of Simplicity Health Style, and today we are going to talk to Miss Alexis. Alexis, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am awesome, and I'm so glad that you could take time out of your busy schedule to speak with us today. Alexis is a phenomenal woman, and I know that she's going to have some gems to share with you. So make sure you stick around to the end. And for those of you that do, you're going to get a complimentary gift if you take one action item that we'll talk about later. All right. So without further ado, Alexis, tell us just one motivational quote that gets you going, that inspires you.
One motivational quote that I just probably saw a couple of months ago, maybe a year ago. I'm not really sure who it's by, but it says anything that costs you your peace is too expensive. And that's something that I decided to live by, not letting the little things get to me and realizing that, you know what, if it disturbs my peace, then I have to keep going on. And anything that interrupts that, you just have to brush it off and keep going about your day. And as that I've lived by that, my life has got much better. So that's something that I love, that quote.
Yeah, I love that. And for you to be able to thrive at your best, I believe that you have to have peace of mind, right? I don't think most people can focus as well when they're scatterbrained and they're focusing on X, but really they should be focusing on Z. You understand? So having a sense of peace of mind, it really puts you in a better spot, especially when it comes to walking in your purpose, which is what we are going to talk about today. So tell us, because we all know that it's not always easy to walk in your purpose, and some of us don't even know what our purpose is, our God given purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about a time when you, for example, didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You thought that there's just no way that I can overcome this situation, and you even were put in a situation where your obstacles kept growing and growing and growing. And so you became more frustrated. Tell us about that experience for you and how you were actually able to bring your dream or your goal to fruition.
When you ask this question, the situation comes to mind. I just graduated in May of 2017, so probably the majority of my situation is going to come from college or within these recent years. But probably the semester I was going to leave school, which was in fall 2016. I had an internship for school. Of course, senior year is just crazy. All the random things that your advisors are throwing at you, as well as you just realizing that, like I'm about to be a full-fledged adult now. I have to get myself together. And one of the last criteria that I had to do was finish an internship before I graduated the following May. And of course, senioritis was real. I was struggling to just go to class each day, just struggling to even just wake up each morning. And as the days and months dwindled down, I didn't have my internship solidified. And I was at a very, very low point because it wasn't in character of me to not have my things together, to not have a to-do list, to not have, answers for people in regards to that situation. And probably about the semester ends somewhere around like December 12th, probably December 1st. I had probably applied to like 5 people. No one had gotten back to me. At that point, I was like, maybe I'm not as great as I think I am. Maybe all the things I've done, like to the work world, aren't as great as they make it seem in college. And I was really just calling my mom, calling my friends, like, guys, I did all this stuff in college for nothing. No one wants to hire me. How am I going to graduate? And of course, your advisors are badgering you like, well, you don't get this done. You're like, I don't know how you're going to graduate in the May. Finally, out of a whim, I had talked to a friend and I said, well, I'm going to reach out to this person one more time just to see if they saw my email. Maybe they didn't. I don't know what else the case may be. I ended up reaching out to her, and probably within some hours, I would say hours, not a day, she finally got back to me and explained that they had been so busy at the agency that I had applied to, and that they had been meaning to get back to me, but with everything concerning like Christmas coming around, things had just gotten away from her. And on that day, she offered me my internship, which is actually the Department of Mental Health and Hygiene. So it's a very big internship. And she was just like, well, just call me tomorrow. We're going to talk to the chief deputy of the department. And I'm on the phone like, oh my gosh, like the chief deputy, what does that even mean? And after that, I was so, so excited. It definitely helped me see that, you know what, like you have to go through trials, and not everyone is going to be on your time. So you have to take and roll with the punches, and don't doubt yourself, because, you know, you are worth much more than what you think you are. So that definitely helped me see the light at the end of the tunnel, which kind of helped me propel for my internship as well as the career that I have now. So that was helpful.
Yes, I love that. And as you said, not everything is on the timetable that you initially thought it should be on or expected it to be on. But sometimes you end up further ahead by just rolling with punches and being patient.
Mm-hmm.
I think that in our society these days, so many people want things instantaneously. For example, we get online and we want it to work instantaneously. We're in a gas line, pump our gas, and we want people in front of us to hurry up so we can go on about our day and everything. We just want instantaneously, and that transfers over into our goals as well. We feel like sometimes if it's taking too long to work through a process or to achieve a goal, that it's just something that maybe is not for us. I think
Mm-hmm.
we need a little bit more grit, some of us,
Yes.
so that not everything is going to be achieved easily. And the harder that you work, you also, at some point in time when you actually achieve your goal, you sit back and look at, oh my gosh, well, I was able to do all that. Well, I could do all of that again for this goal over here. And you're more likely to persevere.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's awesome. Tell us about a time that you were particularly influential or inspirational to someone. And this can come from your social media branding, this could come from a previous career, anything where you felt like you were particularly influential or inspirational to someone and they told you about it.
Probably just a couple of months ago in January, I believe. It was over someone's winter break and they're in college, and they had called me. I hadn't talked to this person in so long, and if I had, it was via social media, them commenting about my blog, them commenting on my Snapchat or something like that. They ended up actually talking to my father and then saying that they were really inspired by everything that I had done concerning my blog, concerning my career, just the things, the accolades that I had built up in, I guess, my short life. I'm only 22. And they had really looked up to me, and it shocked me a lot. Finally, she had told him to tell me to reach out to her, and I ended up doing it. Probably it was some time. It was a lapse there, but I finally did it. And I called her. She just explained to me how basically for me to be so young, it was just very inspiring to see someone not only that looked like her, an African-American female, but someone who understood and someone who was so transparent about their life and their lows as well as their highs, as well as their relationship with God, and understanding that like we're not all the same. We have our own race that we're running. And as I always say, spirituality is a marathon, not a race. So I never try to compare myself to anyone, as well as just being a light within my friend groups. And I'm in a sorority, so her seeing how active I was within my sorority, my community service. So it definitely was a moment that I was very shocked that you don't always realize that people are watching you. And I'm just thinking, well, I'm just posting things on social media because it's social media.
Right.
Not thinking about how much it's impacting other people. So that definitely was a time where I had a great impact on someone without me knowing. So it was very, very inspirational for me.
Yeah, and something that you said, it really rings true. For people that are not used to sharing personal information online or are more private in personality, they tend to not understand why someone would be open and transparent on social media. And what they don't realize is that so many people are uplifted through social media than not, because there are so many people that just don't have the support that some people have, the support
Mm-hmm.
that you take for granted. And I think that there takes a certain level of empathy to know that not everybody's like you. Some people are looking for people like you with blog content that can relate to who they are as an individual, to make them feel like they're not alone in their situation, and they begin to make decisions that are better for them. that same person may have committed suicide if it wasn't for your blog. You just never know who you're able to impact. And with online, that could be someone across the world in Australia that came across your blog. You just never know. I've developed several online courses, and I've had people in those courses that I would have never ever met because they lived in places like Australia, Germany, Bermuda. I would have never met those people if it wasn't for social media. And guess what? They were able to transform a part of their life because they connected with me and I was transparent in some areas. So I think that things like what you do, impacting the community at large, is really key in this day of people just feeling like they don't have the support network that they would like to have, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to people that, say, for instance, they don't have a strong support system, they don't have family, or they have family that just don't really understand what their dreams are or how to best help them, or they don't have um, spiritual community or religious community. They feel like they don't really have many friends at school, but they have this awesome idea that they want to get lifted off the ground. What would you say are some techniques that they could take, maybe even via social media, to be able to network with people to get their dreams off the ground and going?
Well, I would say it's definitely for someone who feels that way that they should go for it. I don't think that they should hold back just because they don't have the in-person connections with people, as well as if they have social media connections with people. For me, I always tell people, if you have an idea, you know what, go for it. Even if someone else has it, there's something about you that makes you unique, and why your idea, why your spirit is going to change whatever you're going for. Particularly, I guess it really depends upon what they're trying to go for. I would reach out to the people on social media, just how we connected with each other,
Right.
that, you know, just randomly instant message someone, ask them if they're doing something similar to what you're doing. Just ask them, well, how did you get here, or what platforms, or what, I guess, websites would you use? If suppose you're writing a blog or you're doing a vlog, well, what platform would be the best? Or do you think that I should have multiple ideas, or do you think that I should stick to one idea? I think that asking questions is a very, very important part of trying to get your idea out there. And I would ask as many people as you feel necessary or deem necessary to get your idea together and focus, but as well as thinking back and focusing on what do you actually want to say, just so when you are communicating with these people that it's not jumbled, and you do kind of have a foundation of what you want to do. You just need the help on the route on what you get it out. So asking questions is always positive.
Yeah, asking questions, being bold enough to ask questions and collaborating with people that are of like mind, because sometimes we think that we know everything, you know, and then we realize as we develop our dreams that we need a team of people to help support us, and that we all have our different strengths. So rather than you focusing on an area that you're not particularly strong at, that another person is, maybe allow that person to help you in that area while you focus on something you're stronger in. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that sometimes with business development, for example, you'll begin to realize that there's certain parts of business that you can do, but you don't necessarily want to do it. Like for myself, I always tell people I really do not want to do anything really administrative. I would prefer to have conversations with people like what you and I are doing right now. But doing administrative work is important to run my business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of me doing things I don't want to do at times, I'll delegate that to someone else that is stronger in that area and that actually wants to do it, so that I can focus my attention on doing the things that I thrive best in. And ultimately, me doing the things that I thrive best in are going to reach more people than me draining my energy doing something I really don't want to do. You
Yeah.
know? So I feel like knowing what your strengths are and really understanding how you can bring that into the world in the best way possible is key as well. What
Definitely being
about,
yourself.
say that again?
I said definitely being realistic with yourself is a key player in all of that.
Yes, yes, definitely. Being real, being authentic, and being transparent is what I am about. And I believe that the growth that I've experienced is because I can be open. And some people may have a issue with that because that's not their personality, and that's none of my business because I'm not here to appease other people. I'm here to appease myself and what I feel like
You're
I should do. You know, so that's kind of how I live my life. But tell us a little bit about your Instagram page because I've seen it, but not everyone listening has seen it. And what I like about your Instagram page is that it's very professionally done, but you come across somebody that's very human at the same time, like girl next door that I can relate to. So tell us about your vision that you created for yourself when you said, I want to create an Instagram page. It looks like this, and this is the message that I want to convey, and this is the overall message that I want to convey in my blogs and any future projects that I work on.
Well, to start off, my Instagram page actually started, well, it's at individually, it's 2 underscores, and then individually, the L is just 1 L-E-E. And I initially started my page off just as a regular basic Instagram, as young millennials have. And probably as my blog grew, I decided to kind of curve my Instagram page to brand myself for my blog. So when people saw it, they would know it was my blog. They would know who it was. They would recognize my pictures and my content that I was giving out. Probably I decided to delete some of the pictures not too long ago. So I'm happy you came across it when you did. And you liked it. There wasn't anything inappropriate, but just wanted to curtail and have a genuine message that was going on and not so patchy.
Right.
Probably I decided to kind of mirror it off of my blog. The original URL I had was off of a WordPress kind of website I was going off of. And I used to, when I was posting blogs, I would post things like new content. It would just be white and I'll put it out like that. And that's how I would get my information out. But as time went on, I realized that, if I'm going to be serious about my blog, I have to be focused and stay on one mission, I guess you could say. So that's when I decided to curtail it to basically reflect my blog and the personality that I am. And it's not something that's fake. Like, this is my day-to-day life activities that I do. There's not only pictures about my blog. There's pictures about my social life and whatever else I do in my personal time. There's not a lot because a lot of things I go to, I can't take pictures at. So I can only put up with so much.
Right.
But I just try to keep it very realistic, very basic. I didn't want it to be, like you said, something where it seemed like I wasn't a human being, or maybe if I did live in a city, no one had ever seen me anywhere or anything like that. I made sure to keep my comments on, so as well as new people commenting that I don't know that are saying, well, come across your page, it's awesome, as well as my friends who are commenting their usual friend comments.
Right.
And whatever else may go on. I don't know if I even correctly answered your question, but
no, keep going. Keep going. What you're saying is still important. I asked about your vision with your blog and your Instagram. What made you decide to give it that human touch that you gave it?
So I was on target. But basically I decided to when I used to post my old blogs, I would post them just as something blank. So basically you would have to swipe. Well, back then there wasn't any swiping. You would just have to actually follow the link. But as time went on, I realized some people had asked me, like, well, I can't find your link, or I don't exactly know what your blog is about because there's no real description. So as time went on, I decided to start putting little blurbs that were within the captions. And then from that, I kind of changed that to just handwriting the important quotes, or a quote that had come up in my mind that was actually in my blog. And I just put that as the cover sheet. So now I flip-flop in between pictures about my day-to-day life, as well as the quotes, which are just my regular blogs. And then there's pictures, if you look at it, there's pictures that are more curtailed to my sermon spotlight. So people know if they see a certain photo from a certain photo shoot. Right now it's just one photo shoot. So people know if they see that outfit or they see anything of that nature, they know I'm talking about a sermon spotlight. And then people know if they see a white piece of paper with some words on it, they know I'm talking about a blog. So it's very easy to identify, very easy to identify through the tags, the hashtags now, since you can follow hashtags and search up hashtags and whatever else people are doing. So I just try to make it very friendly, user-friendly, very understandable, very down to earth. I make sure to comment back to people if they message me or comment on something, or at least like something. If I have not nothing to say, but just like, thanks, solid.
Right.
That type of thing. So that's kind of how I balance my Instagram, social media, as well as my blog to each other.
Yes, and that's something that I strive to do on my obviously health style page as well. I try to engage with as many people on my social networks because I feel like people these days they admire people that actually will speak back to them. You know,
Mhm.
sometimes I'll see people with 1,001 comments and not one of them that they engage with. But
None.
when I do see it, it usually stands out like, wow, this person actually took time to engage with their audience. And not to say that they're going to be able to do that all the time, but when I do see it, it always, always, always stands out. So that's awesome that you connect with your audience that way. I think that makes you even more relatable as opposed to, oh, she just posts pictures and runs, you know?
Yes.
That's awesome. Tell us about a time currently or previously, but currently where someone said something to you that really got you thinking that, okay, maybe I need to pursue this direction. That could be a passion that maybe you had as a child that you kind of didn't do anything with, or it could just be enhancing your current passion. Just something that someone told you that allowed you to say, oh, well, I can grow a little bit further in this area.
This is crazy that you asked this question because just last week, one of my friends who I started my new job with, she just left the company to go start at somewhere else. So I'm super excited about that. But before she left, and she got into her car, we had this long, in-depth conversation. We're crying, we're like hugging each other, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss you. But she had basically said, you know what, Alexis, you have to, no matter how much money you're making, no matter what agency you're working for, no matter how high the position is, if you're not happy, you shouldn't stay. You have to think about yourself at the end of the day and think about, am I growing here? Am I connecting here? Is this something where my purpose is? Which is something I told her all the time. But here she is giving my advice back to me. I'm like, wow, I said that to you. That's crazy. And it really just had me thinking that, well, maybe I need to sit back and think to myself and think about what do I see as my, not do I see as my purpose, what has God given my purpose, and is where I am curtailing or helping me develop within that purpose and my talents, and is God telling me to stay or is he telling me to leave? So after that conversation, I definitely had to sit back and say to myself, well, am I happy here at this job? If I'm not happy, is it something that do I just have an attitude every day when I go to work, or is it the people that I work with? Or if I don't want to work here, then where do I want to work? I can't just quit my job. I have bills to pay. Um, so it definitely had me thinking, and kind of it's always an interesting situation when someone tells you something that you said to them, and it's kind of like, well, now you have to follow your advice that you're giving out. So that definitely was a time that made me sit back and think, and kind of think about the route that I'm going on right now concerning my blog, concerning my business that I have, concerning my master's degree that I'm about to pursue. Just thinking about, well, how are all those things relating, and is there a career for this, or can I make up a career?
Right.
So it was something that I definitely had to think about, and think about, where's my happy place at? Am I happy here? Is my purpose here? So
Yeah, and I remember a time when I was working for corporate America and I was getting paid fairly good money, but it wasn't something that I really felt like had any meaning at all. The best
mm-hmm.
part of the day was the cute clothes I could wear into the building
Yes.
and the game time that I was able to help lead around 3 o'clock in the afternoon every day. That was actually the highlight of the day. So after some time of saying, I'm tired of waiting for the weekends to have my excitement. I mean, the weekend is what, 2 days, right? And it's really only
Yes,
one day because on Sunday you're not thinking about having a whole lot of extra fun. You're thinking about getting ready for the work week, right? But
definitely.
after too much time thinking about I really could be having a more fulfilling and purposeful life, that's when I decided to transition into being a holistic career and health coach and helping people to identify what their career and life purpose is because I know how it feels to be in a job that, yeah, it might be paying your bills, but you don't really feel that your life is fulfilling. And when you can wake up every morning and say, this is what I love to do, like even if someone didn't pay me to do it, this is something that I love to do, it just brings a whole new element of life, you know? So I think that once you discover what that purpose is, and that's one of the things that I help ladies with is discovering what that purpose is, and then not only discovering it, but actually implementing the steps to achieve their goals. One thing to discover. But what are you doing? Are you taking inspired action behind it or not? You know, you're just sitting on your dream. You know,
Right.
so it's always amazing how I'll speak to someone and within about a 60-minute time frame, they're like, "Where have you been in my life?" You know, I didn't even think that I could pursue X, Y, Z. You know, until I had this conversation, and I think that so many people get wrapped up in let me go onto a career website and see what careers are available that's going to pay my bills, but not necessarily a career that I'm going to enjoy walking into.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many of them out there. You just need to know where to look. And some people don't know where to look or they don't know how to market themselves for those positions.
Yes.
It's unfortunate sometimes because they have so much potential, you know? And so I would love to invite anybody listening to this that does not have a strong enough support system into my Nutrition for Busy Women Facebook group. We do not only talk about nutrition from a food consumption standpoint, we talk about nutrition for the mind, body, and soul. And I have always found that these group of women are extremely supportive of each other. They may not always be vocal at all times, but they're always looking and listening. And how do I know this? Because they tell me behind the scenes that they appreciate when a particular person posts all the time. Like, you don't realize who's really looking at your content, you know? And I think that we just need to continue to influence and inspire other women because we really have a lot that we can give, but sometimes we're too overwhelmed by life responsibilities, taking care of children, taking care of aging parents, trying to take care of ourselves, take care of our boss, that we sometimes forget the kind of influence that we can have with other women. So for anybody out there struggling with identifying a support system, I invite you to join my group. And when you do, you get a complimentary gift for doing so. All of that information in the description box. And Alexis, we can definitely follow you on Instagram, right? All of us can follow you on Instagram, right?
Yes, you can follow me at __ individual, just regular spelling of individual, Lee, Lee, and that's the tag for Instagram.
Yes, I'm going to include that in the description box for any of you that are frantically writing that down. You don't have to frantically go find a pen and write it down right now. I'm including that in the description box. And as time goes on, if she has any other projects that she wants you to collaborate, please feel free to extend yourself to her. She doesn't bite. She's a very awesome person. That's what I did. I met her online on social media, and she did not bite.
Literally.
So I would say to increase your network of people that inspire and influence you, and even during those times and those days that you're having a low day, you won't stay there for long if your circle is one of inspiration. So keep that in mind, you guys. But do you have any lasting, encouraging words that you could share with the community before we leave?
Something that I actually had a conversation about today, which is I feel like it's an encouraging word. If you feel like you're in a circle, just like you were saying, where you're not encouraged, you're having trouble finding a group of people that are inspiring you, that are pushing you to be better, I would just highly encourage you to start praying and praying for God to surround you with people who are going to take you to that next level and that encourage you instead of putting you down and saying, well, maybe you can't do this, and maybe that thing is not possible. Just continue to keep praying. You know, God is always there. Man may not be there, but God is always going to be there. And I just hope and pray that He can surround you with people that push you to be that person you're destined to be in that purpose person.
Thank
Encouraging.
you. I appreciate those words of encouragement. I think that we need to hear that on a daily basis. So you guys that are looking for some inspiration, as I mentioned, you can follow her and I, but continue to surround yourself with people that are purpose driven and remember to surrender to God's will for your life. When you surrender to God's will for your life, you're going to find that things naturally are just going to align with bringing you more fulfillment. For those of you that love this, please share it with friends and family that you believe can benefit. And until next time and our next episode, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of the day wherever you are in the world.